Greetings, everyone. I'm Cathie Wood, CEO and CIO of ARK Invest, and this is In the Know. The last few months have been quite rewarding in the financial markets, and we think there is good reason for that. It's been a pretty good year overall, Bitcoin having an especially good year, and I think it's because in March we learned that Bitcoin is not just a risk-on asset. It is a risk-off asset. And why is it a risk-off asset? It's a risk-off asset because there's no counterparty risk. When everyone was worried about their deposits in the banking system in March, they were worried because of counterparty risk. Banks are opaque, whereas the Bitcoin blockchain is transparent and it's decentralized, where banks tend to be centralized. So a huge proof of concept. So this realization, wait a minute, Bitcoin is a risk-on asset and a risk-off asset? That's crazy. We don't have too many of those.
Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are amongst the biggest Bitcoin and crypto bulls on Wall Street, and with Bitcoin up over 160% for the year, they believe it's just getting started. In her latest In the Know update, Cathie Wood broke down her outlook for the economy and where she foresees the Bitcoin price heading. And spoiler alert, it's higher, much higher. Cathie can see that two things are playing out in the economy. Inflation is falling faster than expected, and economic growth is weaker than expected. These two things can only lead to one thing: more monetary stimulus, lower interest rates, and more money printing. With more liquidity on the way, there's one asset that stands to benefit the most: Bitcoin. Also guys, if you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, make sure to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It gives the latest expert predictions, any breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description to join over 30,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. Now here's Cathie Wood with her Bitcoin outlook.
If we look at the economic data, both in real terms and the inflation data, we're seeing a weakening in the economy, much weaker inflation, both lower than expected, and the Fed is beginning to change its tune. So just to rattle off a few of the statistics, JOLTS, the job opening index, is now dropping fairly precipitously. Temporary help employment is falling. That's a leading indicator. We did get the employment report today. It had something for everyone. I would say it was on balance a little stronger than expected, but temporary help, a leading indicator, continued to fall. It's been falling since the Fed started tightening. We had leading indicators. I think they're down now for 16 or 17 consecutive months, down about 10%. We have never escaped a recession when leading indicators have dropped 10%. We had retail sales, industrial production, existing home sales, new home sales, and capital spending as measured by non-defense capital goods, all negative on a month-to-month basis, mostly the month of October. We had the CPI and the PPI come in lower than expected. Now the PPI is up only 1.4% on a year-over-year basis. So we believe the Fed is getting ready to pivot, and we do believe, with history as our guide, that we'll look back at what happened during COVID and after COVID as transitory after all. And I think that's beginning to impact the thinking at the Fed as well. So that's been very good for the financial markets, both the equity market and the fixed income market. It has not been great for the commodities markets at all. And it has also been very good for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and crypto assets at large. And the last chart here is just a performance chart, year-to-date returns, and just wanted to show you where Bitcoin is. It's been the best performing asset this year, and you can see where other categories, equities and fixed income, have been. It's been a pretty good year overall, Bitcoin having an especially good year, and I think it's because in March we learned that Bitcoin is not just a risk-on asset. It is a risk-off asset. And why is it a risk-off asset? It's a risk-off asset because there's no counterparty risk. When everyone was worried about their deposits in the banking system in March, they were worried because of counterparty risk. Banks are opaque, whereas the Bitcoin blockchain is transparent and it's decentralized, where banks tend to be centralized. So a huge proof of concept. So this realization, wait a minute, Bitcoin is a risk-on asset and a risk-off asset? That's crazy. We don't have too many of those. So pretty interesting. In terms of the sectors that have done well this year, I was surprised. As you know, we are index agnostic, and we think that sectors are converging because technology is blurring the lines between and among them. But if you use the GICS classification, you'll see real estate, industrials, and financials have been the best three categories. The reason I was surprised by that, it was a very good period for innovation-based strategies like ours, which are index agnostic. That typically isn't the case when real estate, industrials, and financials are the best performing categories. Worst were energy, it was the only negative sector, consumer staples, and healthcare. So those last two are more defensive categories. That does make sense in the context of how innovation-based strategies like ours performed. So it's been a great rebound from the lows in October, just a massive rebound, and has transformed the year for a lot of asset managers, either for the better or for the worse. And if we're right, and inflation is going to surprise on the low side of expectations, and growth disappoints, we'll be in a period where innovation does its best. Innovation solves problems. If you need to protect your margins as your pricing power disappears, then you need productivity enhancing technology. And with the breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, and we marvel all the time about the breakthroughs in AI as AI training costs drop 70% per year. There's a boom out there, and that is what happens when prices drop. And prices associated with disruptive new technologies always fall. So it's a perfect environment for our companies to thrive. And I'll close right now by featuring two pieces we've put out recently. Both of them, interestingly, are on Bitcoin as we get ready for, hopefully, the SEC's approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. We think it is going to happen. There are all kinds of signals that it's going to happen. So in a timely way, we put out our Bitcoin monthly in the last week. Check out the health of the Bitcoin network and the ecosystem broadly in that piece. And then we just released our latest Bitcoin brainstorm, which we are in partnership with the Bitcoin Park in Nashville, Tennessee. And those are opportunities for us to showcase the developers out there who are making this new world happen. And you'll get a sense of the depth and the breadth of expertise as we introduce you to some of these important people. So do tune in for that. And then finally, all of our analysts and directors are working feverishly to put together our big ideas for 2024. And I guess I'll leave it there, because the next time I do and in the know, we will be in 2024. So I want to wish you all wonderful holidays, family and friends, and look forward to some more exciting times next year.
So there's Cathie Wood's prediction on Bitcoin's bullish future. Remember, Cathie emphasized that with declining inflation and weaker than expected economic growth, the stage is set for increased monetary stimulus and lower interest rates. This environment, she argues, is prime for Bitcoin to thrive as an asset class. Moreover, Cathie's forecast for Bitcoin's price is not just optimistic, it's boldly higher. This aligns with the broader view at ARK Invest, where they see Bitcoin not just as a cryptocurrency, but as a transformative financial instrument in a rapidly evolving economic landscape. Before we sign off, a quick reminder: staying informed in the fast-paced world of crypto and Bitcoin is crucial. For daily updates, expert predictions, and breaking news, top on-chain analysis in a concise format, Don't forget to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. Join over 30,000 others who are sharpening their crypto investment strategies. Just click the first link in the description to get started and elevate your understanding of the crypto market. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.